Rescue Service. That's the outfit I belong to. The Rescue Service Squad. If our American cities were ever attacked by enemy bombers, and they could be, you know, we would need thousands of squads like this. Even in peacetime, disaster strikes in the form of floods and tornadoes. Civil defense teams trained to rescue people trapped in collapsed buildings can save countless lives. That's why, all over America, rescue squads are being organized and trained now by your local civil defense. In World War II, England had to learn all this the hard way, under attack. The rescue worker was called the new technician of the Blitz, and rescue became a craft, something rescue workers take pride in. But here, take a look at a film that will show you what I mean. A film made available through the courtesy of the government of Sweden. Disaster strikes a neighborhood, it is likely that those who survive will rush blindly to the aid of those trapped in the ruins. But a disorganized rescue effort is often worse than none at all. Successful rescue calls for the techniques and training of the skilled rescue team and its leader. To these frantic civilians, time taken for a reconnaissance seems a waste of precious moments. But in the end, it will mean a systematic search for the victims of disaster and more lives saved. The first step in any rescue operation is to gain information about the probable location of casualties. In making such a reconnaissance, the rescue team leader asks the neighborhood warden and other survivors where most of the casualties are likely to be trapped. Was the structure used as a residence? Where were its entrances? Were there any windows into the basement? Does the building contain a shelter? How many persons would normally be in the building at this time of day? This and other information the rescue team leader must obtain. The reconnaissance is time-consuming, but it is further slowed by the frantic pleas of those whose loved ones are buried in the ruins of the building. Be patient, the leader urges, as he explains the necessity for planning a rescue first. Planning that will help ensure the safety of both the rescued and the rescuers. There was no proper air raid shelter in this building. On the air raid siren, the occupants usually went to the basement, so the leader directs that debris be removed from around basement windows. Meanwhile, remaining members of the neighborhood group are taken to another area to begin the work of rescue. These untrained volunteers are unaware of the need for teamwork in rescue operations. Also, that debris should be moved far enough away so that it need not be handled twice. The assistant squad leader calls for a chain operation, a single operation that permits removal of rubble more speedily and to a greater distance. Again, the urge to hurry, hurry. It is hard to calm the fears of those whose loved ones are in danger. Yet, there is no substitute for the care necessary in preparing for the rescue job. The normal means of entrance into the basement is completely blocked, and so preparations are begun to build a tunnel into the debris. Here, the first frames are set for the tunnel as planks and floor poles are placed upon them. The tunnel will eliminate the need to clear away all the wreckage to reach survivors. Part of the rescue leader's responsibility is channeling the aimless activity of bystanders into a worthwhile direction. Another common mistake of the untrained worker, use of a pick to dig through rubble under which a disaster victim may be concealed. Removal of rubble brick by brick is slower, more tedious, but where human lives are concerned, it is the only safe method. Proof of the need to avoid haste in rescue operations. Discovering a casualty is not the end of the rescue job. The victim must be removed safely from the danger zone without inflicting further injury. In handling disaster casualties, special techniques must be used. Time and care. These are the watchwords of the rescue technician. Frantic search instead of planned action will lose lives instead of saving them. In burrowing for broken bodies in the ruins of buildings, training is vitally necessary. Training in constructing a tunnel such as this, in shoring up shaky walls and floors, in creating narrow passages among materials under tremendous pressures, in digging shafts into basements, in all of the many techniques in the rescue and removal of casualties. Training to be alert to danger signs that may threaten one's life, a tottering wall, a leaking gas main, a sudden cave-in or fire. Yet, these form only part of the very craft of the skilled rescue worker. By now, some progress has been made in constructing the tunnel that will lead to the basement room, the area where many of the building's occupants were likely to have sought refuge. Building a tunnel is a slow process, but when completed, it will provide a direct route to survivors with the frame floor above holding back tons of debris. civilians, a casualty, securely bound to a stretcher, is removed from an underground area by means of a vertical raise, one of many techniques used in the removal of trapped casualties. Another rescue technique, cutting through a reinforced concrete floor to reach the basement level. In any rescue operation, several methods of gaining access to trapped victims are tried simultaneously, if a sufficient number of skilled rescue workers are available. Note the care in moving a casualty. Members of the Civil Defense Rescue Squad must be more than construction workers, more than trained firemen. They must be trained in the many techniques of rescue. For untrained personnel may endanger those waiting for rescue and themselves as well. The end in sight, as the casualty at last reaches the first aid area. These men have a mission to accomplish. Until they succeed, there can be no prolonged rest. Yet, to conserve their strength, now and then a break must be taken. Often, small rubble and dust will trickle down through the timbering of a tunnel. The escape of this material in quantity may disturb the massive debris, causing internal movement. That is why a tunnel through small, loose debris must be boarded as close as possible. The tunnel brings members of the rescue team to a caved-in, lean-to type floor collapse and the void it creates. The void becomes a passageway through which the men can move. Tunneling operations make use of voids wherever possible. At last, the door of the basement room is reached. But first, debris must be cleared away. High up across the door, a fallen beam is supporting the ceiling, and so must remain to prevent further collapse. Timbers on the floor block the door. These must be carefully removed. The simplest lifting device in rescue work is the lever or pry bar. Here, the bar is used to pry the door off its hinges. Women play a part in rescue work too. In Sweden, women are assigned to assist in first aid. At last, members of the rescue team gain entrance to the basement room. life still remains.
Ja, man får inte glömma bort att snoka i varenda vrå när de satt i våran gamla rock. Döden kommer lika lätt till den som är ensam som den som ligger ibland flera.
Speed is essential in getting this casualty to the hands of the medics, but careful handling is of equal importance. Again, the need for the rescue technician to administer first aid. For this casualty, a blanket roll is used as a stretcher. Hard enough to crawl on hands and knees to reach casualties, but even more difficult to handle stretchers in these close quarters without further injury to disaster victims. Daylight ahead. The final reward for all the exhausting hours of tunneling through these ruins, for all the risks taken by the rescue worker. The rescue job nears its end. The back-breaking work of digging through rubble, of tunneling, of shoring up walls and floors, all the techniques mastered by the skilled rescue worker contribute to a successful rescue operation. For these hardened veterans of the trained rescue squad, it has been effort well worthwhile, for human lives have been saved, all part of a nation's civil defense effort. Today, in our own country, thousands of skilled rescue workers are needed to help build a strong civil defense for peacetime disasters as well as enemy attacks.